It's really great to be here to celebrate this official opening and kind of inaugural. We had the inaugural thing of, was it 2 years ago, I guess now? And we were outside for that event. And to have the Distinguished Flying Cross Memorial as well as this beautiful tribute and the little book stack. Make sure you look at the books later too. It kind of brings it all together, and I'm just really excited to see that it's here. When I first shook hands with Brigadier General Charles McGee, I was struck by the realization that these were the same hands that piloted 409 combat missions. And I just want to say that number again, 409 times. And yet here he was, as his youngest daughter. She reminded me to mention that Yvonne is his youngest daughter. That he was humble as ever, graceful, kind, asked about my family. I was fortunate enough to know him for several years later in his life, and as he lived here in Montgomery County. We were in the same Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity chapter. For those of you who don't know, this is the fraternity of Martin Luther King and Thurgood Marshall and General Charles Edward McGee. We celebrated our 118th anniversary just yesterday as a fraternity. And you think of General McGee, who passed away at 102. He was alive for pretty much all of the fraternity's history, but for those 14 years. The fraternity was founded because African Americans weren't allowed to join Greek letter organizations on college campuses and were not integrated into the social and other life of the campus. And as I stand here today, I feel that weight. He really embodied the values of our fraternity, of this community, of this county, of lifelong learning and education. I really want to thank County Executive Elrich. When I reached out to him about renaming the library, it was a quick conversation. He said, absolutely. And he understood and was enthusiastic about the power of what we were trying to do here. He didn't just see it as a name change. He saw it as an opportunity to tell a story that deserves to be told over and over again, forever. When we often say that General McGee served in the all-black Tuskegee Airmen unit during World War II, we say that, and a lot of times people have different understanding about what that meant. So I wanted to give you just a little context as I close. So I usually try to imagine a young Charles McGee facing the bitter sting of segregation here at home and in the military, but chose to put his life on the line for the principles that the country represented, even though it wasn't living those. He chose to fight for our democracy and to make our country better. 3 wars, 3 decades of service. Not only did he choose once, he kept choosing. And countless barriers broken, not for personal glory, but for all of us, so that we could have a better life. And I remind us to remember, for each of those 409 combat missions, he was leaving a family at home, children, loved ones who didn't know if he was going to come back, praying for his safe return. And with each landing, he showed that the valor and service that he had rose above the prejudice and adversity that he saw often here at home. So today and going forward, when children and adults walk through these doors and look up and see his name in the awesome red jacket in the picture in the books, many will ask, who is that? And the magic of what we've done here is that they will have an immediate answer. They'll have his principles right behind us, even if that's all they get. They'll see his medals. There's so many things that draw you into this. They'll see the Distinguished Flying Cross. They'll see his books. And I know that there'll be young boys and girls in our community who have already been inspired by him to continue to learn more. So I want to thank Yvonne, who represents the family today, and the entire family, the Commission on Veterans Affairs, the proud Tuskegee Airmen, the Montgomery County Public Libraries, our alphas who are here, County Executive, my colleague Kristen Mink, who is the lead for libraries, who you'll hear from shortly, and everyone who's working to keep his story alive. Especially right now, we need to keep stories like General Charles Edward McGee alive. We're going through difficult times in this country. And I think I can say with confidence, as he looks down, if he were here, he would say, we're committed to the ideals of this country, not temporary folks who are in power, not people who want to roll things back. That's the story of this country. And I know in his 102 years, he saw that. He saw steps forward and he saw steps backwards, but we remain committed to those principles. And this will be a reminder here in Montgomery County, yet another, that we're committed to equality, justice, lifelong learning for everyone, and bridging divides. So thank you for having us here today, and thank you to the Distinguished Flying Cross for working with us. I know it took longer than we wanted, but 2 days before what would have been General McGee's 104th birthday, I think that worked out okay. So thank you so much. Take care.